Welcome Pisces Aries to your chakra reading for August. Hope your friends are doing great out there. If your friends like this, please like and subscribe. Okay guys, let's see what's going on with you and your chakras. Oh, right there. Throat chakra, something needs to be said. Talking about that listening and communication, opening up the communication skills. What is it that you need to hear, or that something needs to be said? Do you have to say something, or do you need to listen to someone speaking? It could be even two in one. Maybe you just need to have more communication with good speaking and good listening. Ooh, okay. So let's see what's going on with your throat chakra. Of course, that's located in the middle of your throat. Talking also about that creativity. Let's forget about that creativity, because that's where a lot of your creativity comes from. Okay. And talking about divine wisdom from the soul star chakra. Yes, listening to the divine wisdom or speaking of the divine wisdom. And like I said, it could be both, with the life purpose coming out with another throat chakra. Wow, so really speaking and listening about this life purpose through divine wisdom. So with the divine wisdom, it's saying the divine is here to give you the divine wisdom for what you need to do within your life. This will keep you deeply connected to the divine light of the universe. So really sitting back and listening to your higher self will actually tune you in and connect you to the awareness of what the truth is of the life purpose. It flows through you and through your abundance, this divine wisdom. With the life purpose over here, this is that throat chakra again, talking about highlighting the perfect timing for you to manifest your life purpose. So by sitting still, listening to your higher intuition for the divine wisdom will actually help you manifest what it is you need to do to walk the path that you need to walk. Finding that perfect path for you, or at least the perfect path at this time. Right? We can change paths all the time, but at least right now for your life purpose, you can start finding the sparks within yourself by listening. You might even have someone else around you who is trying to help you out and giving you a little divine wisdom, and maybe you're not really taking any consideration into what they are saying. You might want to listen to that as well, because there's a lot of abundance on your path. And this will actually help unexpected doors to open and opportunities that you could never imagine. And maybe there is someone out there that is trying to speak this to you that you're not really listening to, that does have a door opening for you. Maybe you just don't see it the way they're seeing it. So if you're actually going to sit still, kind of listen to what they're saying instead of being stubborn about it, maybe they have some kind of divine wisdom as well. So take that into consideration. You would know though if that's that person, because they keep kind of bugging you saying, but I know of this job, and you're like, but I don't know if that's it. You know what I mean? But maybe it could be the time for you to sit down and say, hey, you know what? Go ahead and tell me about that door, about that opportunity. Maybe I will start listening a little bit more. So that could be for somebody. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Getting straight into the divine wisdom. Number one, just breathe. Talking about that kind of that throat chakra and that compassion. Actually, with this card, it's kind of interesting because excuse me, as you can see, I love these cards because they have all the chakras in them as well. They actually use chakras in this healing deck. That's why I use them. That's why I'm a little picky about what decks I use, because I want to make sure that they're useful for the type of readings that I'm using. And these are super useful because it's saying this is kind of this like teal kind of color going on over here, which is trying to tell us that, look, the throat chakra and the heart chakra are kind of coming together, making these colors. And you can see them. I hope you can see them, that there's a lot of blue and a lot of green going on over here. So there's a lot of speaking and listening and being still, and a lot of also the heart chakra going in, which is saying use that compassion. Use the compassion. And then you've got all these beautiful purples over here that's saying, and you can visualize exactly what you need to get to. So this card is very beautiful because it's actually using the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the third eye chakra. Why? Because she can see. She's clearly seeing under the water and keeping herself cool and calm as she's sitting underneath that water, just listening to herself. And then you have this beautiful yellow coming through. So you can tell that she actually has an intention with the solar chakra coming through that she's visualizing. So she's actually visualizing as she's staying so calm about what her intention is. Wow, lots of beautiful colors over here going on within this card for heart, for chakras. And just that's that staying and breathing. So the breathing card we can kind of see as just kind of taking that step back, my friends, looking at it from a different point of view and just relaxing and really getting down into retrospective of what's going on. This way you can just relax, right? And when you're breathing, you can release the negative to allow the divine wisdom to come through, because the more that you're releasing and doing your breathing techniques, you know, in with the good, out with the bad, you are going to actually raise the vibrations by raising the positive energy up, so that you, when you do some kind of meditation or visualization or however you're going to meditate, you can actually, you know, get straight into that soul star chakra, which is going to be then located above the crown chakra as you start crowning, right? Kind of start crowning. We kind of see that in the pink over here. That's going to be that crown chakra. You're going to then anchor yourself to the places where the divine lives. That's the soul star chakra. So you're going to actually start getting into the divine place of where your soul lives. That's really what it is, right? That's where the soul is. That's where the divine lives. That's the universe. That's the higher places of yourself. So really grounding yourself and really allowing yourself to get there, so that way you can have that intuition just really start sparking and getting really imaginative about what it is. And it's imagination is actually a very good piece when you start visualizing through the crown chakra. People don't realize that, but it is the truth. A lot of writers, they start with all this imagination, and the next thing you know, they're speaking of things that it's like, whoa, wait a minute, how do they know something like that? Well, because it's starting to open the intuition. And when it starts to really start peaking and crowning, their writers are actually bringing more intuition into the story, more so than just creative imagination, right? So that's why all of a sudden things in a lot of stories start really coming together, and you're like, what? That actually doesn't sound just like, you know, nonsense. It's kind of interesting that they can actually do that. And that's because you're really crowning over here, really bringing in very intuitive higher pieces. And that's really what you're doing when you're using divine wisdom. All of a sudden that light bulb is going to go off, and you're going to say, how did I know that? Well, because that light bulb that went out, that went off, didn't go out, that went off, it became very bright, was the higher divine, your intuition, your soul, your spirit guide, all these things talking to you, that is giving you this divine wisdom of things that you didn't know really existed. But there's something within you that's telling you it's not just my complete imagination, that actually is true. And that's, for a lot of people, it's very weird, right? It's kind of a weird feeling at first, because you're kind of like, well, how the hell did I know that? And you might even Google it and find it to be true. And then they're like, what? You know, and then of course you're trying to figure out all these things. There's no reason to figure all that stuff out. Just let it go, right? Because you were told, right? You were told. You don't need to know the reasons why, right? Everybody always wants to try to figure all the things out, right? There's no reason. You already know. I mean, you know, pretty much you'll know if it's bullshit, okay? You'll know it is. It's just, there's something to it, and then you'll know that's your imagination. You're just pure imagination. But these are not things that are like that. This is something that's like, what? Yeah, and all of a sudden it starts peaking, and then this, wow, look at that, you get transformed. Now we have this beautiful brown coming out, and people will be like, well, there's no brown in your chakra, but naturally there is. It's actually a part of the Earth Soul chakra, which is going to be located and anchored from the base chakra down below the hips and spine, the first chakra, that's going to anchor you to the earth itself. So the transformation is always coming from earth chakra itself. And the brown is literally just saying how you're grounded. It's about stability and grounding yourself, and keeping yourself connected to the universe itself. And it's also talking about that genuineness that's coming out. And that's what this divine wisdom is too. It's a genuineness of what we actually know. Our souls know things we don't know, obviously, right? It's also where the stubbornness comes from. And it's also going to make you, though, more approachable to your life purpose, and more approachable to listening. Remember, because we're all talking about the throat chakra and listening and communicating. So it's going to make you more approachable in feeling like you can now listen to others, to your higher self, to everything. And it's going to make you feel like there's more of a dependability going on, right? Things are going to seem like they're a little more dependable, and this door is feeling more dependable. And maybe now what they're trying to say to you actually seems like maybe they are dependable as well. Because I feel like if it's someone who's trying to tell you something, it could kind of sound like BS, or you don't want to hear it. There's a stubbornness going on, but they really do have something to say to you. And you're going to feel more comfortable about listening to it, because you're now being able to breathe and really hearing what you need to hear, and taking away that stubbornness. I just really feel it's a stubbornness, guys. I feel like there's some kind of stubbornness to where you don't think maybe they know what they're talking about, and you've never really let them finish the conversation or something of this nature. Maybe you just feel like whatever this job is or whatever it is not good for you. But then you're going to start finding, you know what, I'll just listen to them. You know, maybe they do have some really good ideas that could help out. But more than anything, it's really listening to your own divine wisdom for most of you, and not being so stubborn to not try to take the action where you need to take that action. Maybe you feel you're too busy. I don't have time. Oh, that's stubborn. That's stubborn. There's always time, right? So really allowing this transformation to come through, and then you're going to see these open doors, these unexpected doors start opening for you, because you're just going to shine this light in, and it's just going to be this like kind of aha moment. Yes, force your success and growth. Look at that. Yes, because this is all about success and growth. This is all about figuring it out, putting yourself where you need to be, and really transforming the way that you're speaking, listening, and using that creativity within yourself. Taking the time for yourself with doing so. Oh, yes. And talking about that stability, there's that stability and that knowing with the Emperor over here, and really putting you into Emperor mode over here, really for the stability and really making you shine. This is going to make you feel like, with the success and growth, that you are the Emperor. Now you're in control. And you know you're in control because you can feel it. You feel different. You feel more alive. You feel, you know, more empowered, right? You feel like you're in a more of a leadership role. You've listened, you've paid attention, and it just feels like you're more ready to become the leader that you want to be, and really feeling like you're more in charge of the situation of your life purpose. So very beautiful. Okay, and that was it for you, my friends. Until next time, peace and love.